Well, hello everyone. How you doing? I hope that all of you are having a good Saturday and hopefully you're going to have a good Sunday and enjoy your weekend. I can only hope that you're having a good weekend. And if you're not having a good weekend, I'm sorry. And hopefully you can find some ways to have at least more balanced, good, positive weekend. Now, having said that, as you can tell, looking at the title of this video and the subject of this video, this is going to be something totally different than what I normally talk about. I have over 4,000 plus videos where I strictly just talk about, television, movies, video games, PCs, virtual reality, etc., etc., etc. I do have some vlogs. I had some vlogs during a hurricane season, during Hurricane Wilma and all that. But this video, it's something that lately I've been getting a lot of messages and people have been asking me, this is in regard to Bob Lazar video and the UFO. First of all, let me just state that I'm not a ufologist. I'm not like any kind of part of any ufology group. I don't hang around with ufologists. I don't, go to the UFO con, like they have Comic Con. I don't go to these, meetings and whatnot. Basically, I'm not part of any ufology group. Okay, so therefore I'm excluded from that. But this whole thing with Bob Lazar and Joe Rogan interview, I feel that lately, and especially this year, it's even on the news. They're even talking about it on the news more openly. So the UFOs are being talked about a little bit more openly. Like if you would never see any kind of a footage or anything on the news 30 years ago or 25 years ago, especially on a CNN or a mainstream media, NBC, CBS. You would never see that kind of stuff. Or especially to have a Pentagon release a footage of F-18C Hornet chasing this flying saucer. Your typical flying saucer that Bob Lazar described and everybody else described. And what a coincidence that it looks exactly the way Bob Lazar described and the way others have described and the way it has been painted to look like. What a coincidence, right? So what I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to try to give you my opinions. I want everybody to understand a couple of things. This is my opinion. This has nothing to do with anybody else's views. This is just my view. These views and everything I tell you here, it's coming from my own experience. It's coming from my own experience and what I believe and what my beliefs are on this whole extraterrestrial belief. So let's start with one simple point here. Let's just state the obvious. We live in a solar system that it's quite honestly the smallest solar system in comparison to the other star systems out there. Okay? And for us to have this notion, to have this belief that we're the only living, existing beings on this planet, on this universe, it's really absurd. For anyone, whoever tells you that, I really don't want to talk to that person. If I hear somebody tells me, no, we're the only ones, that's it, there's nothing out there, it's like, dude, I don't want to be friends with you. I don't want to talk to you. Have a nice day. Goodbye. We're never going to be friends. We can't be friends because I don't like your views, because your views are just, no offense, but they're stupid. They're stupid. Anybody who makes that kind of a statement, it's either stupid or he's part of something or something else out there that is trying to suppress the belief that there's something out there. Okay, it can be either that or the other thing, meaning that he's part of some kind of a club that doesn't want us to know that there's something out there, or that person is really stupid. Okay, anybody who has brains, anybody who can put two brain cells together, can look up into a universe and say, hey, I don't know what that is, but it's infinite. And for me to say that I know for a fact, when I haven't even lift off the ground to go into the space, for me to know that there's nothing out there, it is just simply stupid statement to make. So that's the first thing I want to say. And the reason I'm saying this, I'm not trying to say this to offend anybody who has that belief. I'm just simply saying that belief is stupid. It is a stupid belief because believing that a vast universe that's infinite has more chances of having some other races living there, has more credibility than for you to say that this big infinite universe has nothing out there except us. We're the gods of it. That it's so selfish, that it's so stupid. It is just a stupid belief. I mean, I'm not here trying to take that belief away from you. You want to have that belief, believe it every day, take a shower with it, go to sleep with it, take a shit with it, take a piss with it. I don't care. But it's still, at the end of the day, any individual who is intelligent, who has two brain cells together, is going to say that's a stupid belief, to believe that there's nothing else out there except us. Not even bacteria, right? We're the only one. All right? So, that's the first thing. Now, let's talk about the UFOs and the sightings of the UFOs. And I'll talk about from my own experience. I think I already mentioned it when I was a little kid. This was in Croatia, one of the islands in Croatia. And I was with my parents, and I was in the balcony. And I was laying down. I was looking at the skies, and the sunset was just coming down. You know, it was like the sun was setting down. And I was looking at the sky, and then finally it got dark. And you can see all the stars and everything. Because this island was kind of isolated from the major big cities. I forgot the name of it. It was long time ago. I was a little kid. And I looked up, and I see, it's like a Christmas tree. Like, the best way I can describe it, it's like a police car LED lights. You know, when they go off, those bright police LED emergency lights, you know, when they turn them on, it's kind of like that. Christmas tree and emergency lights, police car emergency lights. But they were kind of morphing. They were morphing in. It's not like you can see them individually going in and out. They were kind of morphing. Everything was morphing into it. Everything was kind of coming in and out of it, morphing itself into all these different shapes and colors. And I looked at this thing, and it was lit up. And it was exactly like the flying saucer that you see. Okay, imagine a flying saucer, your typical flying saucer that looks like a hat, right? And imagine that flying saucer being totally glowing and morphing itself with so many lights, so many colors that even I couldn't tell what color was what, because they were morphing so quick, so fast. And it was just sitting there, stationary. Now, I don't know how far away it was, because, you know, I was a little kid. I was like 6 years old, so I couldn't tell the difference. But I would say roughly quarter of a mile, like a quarter of a mile. That's what I would say. That's how far it was from the balcony, like a quarter of a mile. And I'm just standing there, I'm just looking at it. And I mean, I had this, how do I put this? Strange, frozen feeling. Like, I wasn't terrified. Let me put it this way. I wasn't scared. I want everybody to know that this is not a scary story. I was not terrified. I didn't feel terrified. It felt kind of, how would I say this, man? I'm going back through my memories and I'm trying to use a good definition of this. I'm trying to do my best to explain to you what I felt. It's very difficult to describe what you feel at that moment. It's hard to find a vocabulary that's going to satisfy you as to what I felt. The best way I can explain it is, number one, it was not terrifying feeling. So everybody out there, it was not terrifying feeling. It was actually a quite nice, refreshing feeling, but I did feel frozen and strange inside. Like it felt like something was out of balance, something was out of place, and I felt like I was out of place, like I was out of balance. It almost felt like, why is it me? Like, why is this whatever this is, this vehicle, this glowing vehicle, whatever this is, call it UFO, flying saucer, top hat, I don't care. Why is it stationary and why is it directly looking at me? I felt its presence just monitoring me. Like it almost felt like it's just focusing on me. Like I knew, like my mind knew that this, whatever this is, it's focusing on me only. And even to this day, I can't tell you what it was. Now, my parents, they were in a living room. They were like, I don't know, with their relatives, guests. They were playing cards. They didn't pay attention. I didn't say anything because I was like in this zen, like in this frozen zen. Not a frightening zen, but a peaceful, frozen zen place that at the point, I didn't even hear my parents. I swear to God, I didn't even hear my parents while they were playing the cards with their relatives. I was just like, it was like, you know, like when you put those headphones, isolated headphones, you put them on, and everything gets isolated, like noise cancellation. It's like a noise cancellation headphones. You put them on, and everything goes like, whoop. You're only focused on that. And you can't even, like, I couldn't even speak. I was just like focused on that thing. Did I have some chills? Yes, I did. I have this very like chilling thing where you feel your hair's like sticking up, you know. I mean, I was 6 years old, but of course I had some hair. I have hair. I was at six years old. I had hair. I had a blonde hair, believe it or not, when I was 6 years old. It wasn't like this. It was blonde. And what is all that about? And you just feel this like almost like electricity, you know, like flowing. It feels like adrenaline rush or something. It's like it's flowing. It's like you feel like something is flowing through you. You feel some sort of energy or something flowing through you. And I was just looking at it, and I didn't say anything. Now, I can only tell you what I felt. I can't remember what thoughts I had and what was going through my mind. I was just focused on that. And I still remember that object after all these years. 36 years. I still remember it. I can't remember what I did last week or what I did last year. Barely remember stuff I did last year. But I remember this. Like vividly, I remember this. And I watched some interviews with other people who had the same experience, and they all say the same thing. They remember it vividly. Like every single one of those that I watched, they all said they remember it vividly. Like they never forget that image. Like they remember it vividly when they see it. It never, you can't unseen it. Like it's always there in your head. It's implemented into your mind. I can actually draw it for you. Maybe I'll do that. I'll paint it. I'll show you exactly what I remember and how it looks. But it was beautiful looking. Let me tell you, it wasn't frightening. It was beautiful looking, but it was this like a interesting feeling, where you felt like it was peaceful. It was zen. It felt peaceful. It was not terrifying, but it was like almost that I felt that like I was out of place. Like almost like something doesn't add up here. Like it was just that kind of a feeling. And I'm really doing a piss poor job trying to describe this. Listen, the whole point is this. What I'm trying to say here to you guys is this. I have seen things, and this is just one of them. When I was 6 years old, that's the one that I really had like a really good encounter when I was 6 years old. Okay? And it was in 1986, I believe. It was 1986. I think so. Was it 1980 or 1985? 1986, I think. 1986 or 1985, I think. One of those years. And that was just one that I vividly remember. There was others that I have seen recently, that I have seen looking at the sky next to the ocean. The best time to look up in the sky is go to the beach when the beach lights are out. Go sit at the beach and look up in the sky, and you're gonna see some activities. You'll see the dots doing this, doing that. I mean, the airplane goes like this. The UFOs go like that. Like this, like that. The airplane goes like that. The UFO's doing that. So I've seen these things. I have seen it with my own two eyes. Not more than once. More than once I have seen it. So I don't even need Bob Lazar. I don't even need anybody out there to tell me that there's something out there, because I've seen stuff that's out there. I've seen it with my own two eyes, and this is another reason why I believe Bob Lazar. I believe that it's possible we might have recovered some of these UFOs from an ancient time. We dig them up and we found them, probably in Antarctica. I don't think we shut them down. Guys, I don't believe in this idea that we shut them down and we brought them down. And I don't believe that they crashed. I think what happened is, this is like 4,000 years ago, 6,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago. These are the ancient flying crafts that were left there for whatever reasons, and we recovered them. We recovered them, and we're trying to figure out what they are and how they operate. That's what I believe in. I think these things are ancient. They were recovered probably from Antarctica or from the sea, from somewhere else, and they were brought back to the Nevada testing site in Nellis in the S4 for the testing, and they're probably moved to Ohio or most likely, what's your best bet where all this activity, all these tests are being done? It's not north of Vegas. Do you know where I believe all these tests are being done now? Alaska. Alaska. What better place to do it than in Alaska? The vast forest and mountains. Alaska is the best remote place to do it. If I'm going to be doing tests, if I'm going to be doing some kind of tests and doing some kind of sinister shit, testing this, testing that, when I say sinister, because we don't know, there might be some poor bastards out there who volunteer to put themselves as a guinea pig to see what they can do with this element 115 or whatever it is that they're looking, this radiation, to put themselves out as a guinea pigs for this radiation. Okay, because there's definitely going to be some radiation with these crafts. Okay, there's no question about that. And you're gonna get sick. And as a guinea pig, there's gonna be individuals out there who are gonna be guinea pigs, who are gonna be the one expendables to do these tests. Now, that's my belief. I could be wrong. I don't know. But I'm saying if you're going to do the tests, you're going to do the tests out in middle of nowhere. Middle of nowhere. In Alaska, it's the best middle of nowhere to do so. It's not going to be in Nevada. They're probably testing on the new aircrafts. They're testing the new stuff because they don't want our enemies to see what we got. That's probably what's going on over there in the Area 51, in my opinion. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say on this video is this. I believe that there's a lot of stuff out there that we can't explain. There's a lot of stuff out there that we can't explain, and this really makes me wonder, here's what I'm trying to say. We don't even know, like, what's this reality we're living in. We don't even understand this reality. We don't fully understand it. We don't fully understand why that moon is there. We don't fully understand why Jupiter has all these moons. We don't fully understand a lot of different things. We don't fully understand how we have all these different species of animals here. There's so much that we don't understand. We don't understand, why do we dream? Why do we have these recollections? There's so much we don't understand about us as human beings. Like those pyramids, they don't make any sense. Why they're there, how did they, 3,000 years ago, how were they able to build those pyramids? They had no knowledge of math, geography. How were they able to do that? There's so much we don't know. And then when you look at the universe and space, it's even more ridiculously ridiculous to understand. So we really are still in the jungle. We have no clue. Okay? We're like jungle warriors that are a little bit more civilized. Okay? But other than that, we have no clue. We have no idea. So the reason I say this is because if we don't have a clue about our past, and we just have some theories, like archaeology, scientific theories that never answer the question of the what was it, that missing link. They never explained to us the missing link, what happened after dinosaurs, and how was it that the dinosaurs were all wiped out, but yet we survived. Okay. So the reason I'm mentioning this, and I hope you guys are keeping up with me, it's because if we are living in such enigma, which we are, we're living in an enigma. If we're living in such enigma, then anything and everything is possible. Yes, angels, Draculas, werewolves, big giant cyclops, all that shit is possible. Ghosts, yes, they're possible. Anything and everything is possible. That's the way I look at it. Yes, Bigfoot, it's possible. All of it is possible. That's the way I look at it. But just because you haven't encountered it, just because you haven't seen it yet, or just because you haven't experienced it yet, doesn't mean that it's not there. Okay? This is what I always try to tell people. Just because you haven't experienced something doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Okay, how would you know if you haven't experienced it? Did you check every and each national forest, remote areas in the world? Did you? No. No, you didn't. If you did, maybe you would have seen something. Maybe you would have encountered something. But you didn't. So anything and everything is possible, guys. Anything and everything is possible, and that's how I feel. That has been my stance since I was a little kid. And I remember when I was in a freshman, freshman year, when I was going to high school. There was this teacher. His name is Dietrich, and he was a history teacher. And I like this. I like Dietrich. He was Mr. Dietrich, a history teacher, and he would talk about the ancient civilizations, the Egyptians and pharaohs, and then he would talk about the oldest civilization, which is way before Babylonians. Oh my God, Sumerians. He would talk about Sumerians and the oldest civilization of Sumerians, and then I would sometimes say to him, "Well, how do you explain?" I said, "Well, how do you explain them building all this stuff? How do you explain them building these temples and everything if they had no knowledge about math, if they have no knowledge about geography, if they have no knowledge about geometry, if they had no knowledge on how to put 2 plus 2 equal 4, if they don't have any of this knowledge, then how they're able to do this stuff, how they're able to build all this stuff if they don't have any tools? They got to have some kind of tools to do this. So how do they build all this stuff?" And then there would be like an argument between me and this teacher, Dietrich. And then sometimes I would, just out of a joke, I said, maybe it was the aliens. I said, maybe it was some other race. They came down here and put us into amnesia and used us like a puppets. And then he kind of gave me that dirty look. I said, "Okay, you're going to sit down. That's it." And but look, he was great. He was a great teacher. I like Dietrich. Dietrich gave me a lot of good advice on life and stuff. He was definitely one of my favorite teachers. He was a history teacher, Mr. Dietrich, and he was very smart. But deep down, even though he disagreed with what I was saying, and the only reason he disagreed with what I was saying is because the academic of scholars of the school in New York, they don't allow that kind of a talk. That kind of a talk will put you in a straitjacket. In a straitjacket, means you're crazy, you're lunatic. They just label you as a crazy, okay? And but deep down, he knew that what I was saying, there was some merit to it. I made a legitimate point. Okay, when you make a legitimate point, and if that person gets angry, it means you got him, and he's getting angry because you made a legitimate point that is telling the truth. If you say something that makes no legitimate points, then the person's just gonna laugh or whatever. But if you make a legitimate point, and the person gets agitated and he gets angry, that's because you're giving him a serum of truth. Okay. Well, anyway, listen, guys, I just want to say this, and I felt like I should maybe open up and talk about this. The reason I'm opening up about this is because even though I know this video will not be suitable for the advertisers, and that's okay. I never made this video to profit money from it. I'm just making this video to share it with you guys. Okay, I don't want to make any money out of this video. Zero, zilts, nada. And I understand why the advertisers don't want to support this. I totally get it. I understand that. But I felt that maybe I should open up and talk about this because I think it's time. We're getting closer to 2020. And I have a feeling by 2028, I had this vision, man. I had this vision, I had this dream. By 2028, we finally make contact with these beings. And not just one, but many of them by 2028. And it officially becomes the first time ever in our history where we make contact. This was the vision that I had. This is something that I envisioned. And I don't know. I mean, if I'm alive by 2028, we'll find out. Maybe this video will be that crown jewel for you guys to say, hey, maybe there's a reason why this Mr. 4K upscaler, it's still here. Maybe there's a reason why he's on YouTube. Besides the television, all this other stuff, who knows? We'll find out. But I just need to speak my mind for the record. I think I need to get this off my chest because I think this is something that needs to be said, and I have the courage to at least say on what I've been through and how I feel about this whole thing. And I understand that there's going to be a lot of you who's going to dislike this video. I totally understand that. I know that some of you will not agree with this, that some of you will think that I'm full of it. Look, there's always going to be skeptics. I'm not here to convince anybody, and I'm not making this video to convince anyone or anybody. I'm just doing this video to share something with you. That's what this video is about. It's about me sharing something with you guys. That's all there is to it. How you take this video, how you look at this video, that's okay. You like it, dislike it, hate it, love it, it's okay. All of it, it's okay. I have no authority to tell people what to believe. And I should never ever tell people what to believe. The only thing I can do is I can share my experience and what I believe. That's all this video is about. It's about me sharing my experience and what I believe in. So what do you believe in? Thank you guys for watching this video and sitting through this painful 30 minutes. And if you made it this far on this video, I really, from the bottom of my heart, I really thank you, and I appreciate you sitting down to listen to what I have to say. Thank you all. I really appreciate it. And remember, whatever happens in your life, whatever it is that you're going through, or whatever it is that's going to happen, remember it's happening for a reason, and it cannot be stopped. But while you're still alive, while you're still here in this universe, in this reality, try to make the best of it. Enjoy every minute or every second. People whom you love, tell them you love them. Those whom you've done wrong, try to make it right. At the end of the day, try to be positive. Because being positive, it is the only key for us to make contact with these other beings out there in the universe. And I'm sure they want to make a contact with us too, but they only want to do that when we are ready. Thank you guys. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.